Hello everyone, welcome to the etmarkets.com webinar that's powered by NSC. As part of our effort to constantly keep you on top of the markets, etmarkets.com in association with National Stock Exchange is presenting a series of webinars in the stock trading, market technicals, product and processes, and do's and don'ts in capital markets. In the first of this series, Mr. Ravi Varanasi, Chief of Business Development NSC, will update you on the investment and career opportunities in the capital markets. As more domestic savings flow into financial markets and retail investors gain confidence in equities, this is an opportunity to learn the nuances and inner workings of the stock markets. Mr. Varanasi will make a presentation shortly. Thereafter, he will field questions from you in a text chat. You can keep posting questions in the little chat room on the right side of your screen. So stay logged in and get all your queries answered. Over to you, Mr. Varanasi.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. You may be aware about 20 years back, 1994, NSE started its operations. We started our operations with debt market segments. Over the years, we have grown to become the #1 exchange in the country. We control almost 80% of the market share in underlying equities and almost 100% of the market share in derivatives market. And we are the largest exchange in the world in terms of number of contracts traded in equity index options as well as single stock futures. So over the years, we have developed a very significant presence across the country. More than 250,000 terminals are present across the length and breadth of the country, which covers almost every single district of the country. And we have been able to reach, take the markets to the doorsteps of investors rather than investors coming to the exchange through various other routes. And we have, while taking the markets through a number of terminals across the country, we've also enabled internet-based trading as well as mobile-based trading. And we are seeing a significant traction coming on both the methods of trading. We have almost about 12% of the activity coming through internet now, and almost about a percentage coming through the mobile networks. So we have seen the market grow substantially in the last 20 years. The market volumes have grown almost 20 times. 100 crores was a great number in 1994. We are on average do about 20,000 crores in cash market and about 250,000 crores in derivatives market. It's a huge market and a vibrant market which we were able to build over the last 20 years. While we were doing this, we were very aware of the fact that well-functioning market requires thorough understanding of the market entire infrastructure by investors as well as the intermediaries. Intermediaries are critical so that they take the right products to the right investors and explain the products properly to the investors so that investors can choose the kind of products which make sense to them and which match the risk profile of the investor. So there have to be a set of skills which are required at the intermediary end. And the final investors also need to understand some of the part of the market, if not the full market as such, so that they can choose the right kind of products for their investment. So when we looked at both the problems, we realized that we have to make interventions in both the cases, because in 1994 when we started, the infrastructure, not only the infrastructure, trading infrastructure was not very great, but also the knowledge of financial products which are available for the investors was not very great, and the intermediary knowledge is fairly patchy because there's no specific certification or standardization of skill sets which are required for investors to intermediaries to come into the market. So we have decided when we started our operations, initially itself we said all our members need to go through a specific process before they get enabled as members, that is brokers as such. And subsequently we have decided that all dealers, people who actually trade using the terminals, need to have a standardized skill sets. That's where we have actually started getting into the education side of the story. We have created curriculum which needs to be studied, which was basically self-study kind of a curriculum, and subsequent to which they have to pass an examination which is conducted by the exchange. Unless they pass those examinations, we did not allow them to actually start trading on the exchange platform. That's how we wanted to ensure that the standardized skill sets are available at the intermediary end. While this was going on, we also realized that there is fair amount of interventions required because India is a huge country. All of you, I mean, we are about 130 crore people. Country is a huge country spread across continental-sized proportions. So we also need to ensure that our investors also understand the products and so that they can make informed decisions while putting their money into the markets or any financial product. It need not necessarily the markets. With that in view, initially we started with our investor awareness programs. Over a period, we have tried to, have products across the gamut of financial markets, right from very initial, very early stage understanding of the markets and financial products to highly complex products and services, risk management, surveillance, and stuff like that. So we try to create a very comprehensive package for both intermediaries as well as final investors, so they can pick and choose the right kind of product, educational product or awareness product which they want to understand and take things forward. So having given this basic background, I'll get into the actual presentation. So initially, if you really see, just give me a second. Yeah. So when we started off, as I mentioned, we started in 1994 the exchange operations. By about 97 we started our financial awareness initiatives. So in that sense, initial, more than about 40 lakh individuals have already been certified by us in terms of both education as well as awareness and intermediary skill set building. And as I said, we have been working with the state government, schools and education institutions. We have multiple types which we have created over the last 20 years. So the biggest, if you really see, we are looking at essentially two interventions. One is empowering the individuals and investors so that they understand the financial markets, financial products which are available to them, so that they can possibly choose the right kind of product which suits their risk profile. That is one. That is basically a life skill. Finance, understanding and managing your own funds and funds is a life skill. So our focus is on building those life skills among as many investors and as many people as possible. Skill sets which would help students to get into the financial markets, that they are selling the right kind of product. The career skill is, there is a huge amount of entrepreneurship potential. Businesses within the financial sector. So that is one more area where we have been concentrating in the last 5 to 6 year period. If you really see, as I mentioned, as I mentioned, our interventions start right from school level, because we realize that people need to be taught about managing money very early in their life. They may not be able to really turn to financial product users or business or with organizations. So we started with tools so that we can give them basic inputs in terms of same age. So there we have a couple of interventions which I will detail in some time. Subsequently, once they cross the school level, we have interventions as well as postgraduate level. So we have various institutions where we are able to deliver an MBA program, which while the university or institution delivers the same exchange actually the practical areas, so that when the students complete their program or a BBA or an MBA, they're ready to be employed. They need not be trained in after they're absorbed in an environment. So that is what we're actually trying to make kids fully ready for starting their work on day one when they get employed. So that is one more area. Then we have been doing the short-term skill programs for the government. Most of you would be aware that the National Skill Development Corporation has been set up to enhance the skill sets across various sectors in the country. And one of the sectors is the BFSI, the banking, financial services and insurance sector. And we are very active in that area, and we have been conducting various programs for the BFSI, in the BFSI sector, for people to obtain skills necessary in very short capsule programs so that they can gainfully get an employment in the financial services industry. Then we have some open programs, which the first of which I have already mentioned, the certification program, which is called National NCFM, basically NSE Certification in Financial Markets. This was the first our intervention in financial education side, as I mentioned earlier. This is one of the certifications which are required for people to get into the market and become dealers and stuff like that. But over the years, we realized that it's not just the capital markets, stock markets as such. People need to have skills across the financial sector. So we introduced a series of modules to cover the entire BFSI sector, that is banking, financial services, as well as insurance. Multiple modules have been introduced. So that is one area, and we keep doing a lot of management development programs which are focused on specific areas of which are demanding, say something like risk management or compliance or corporate governance or surveillance, which require specific skill sets. There we actually try and conduct management development programs, which are very short duration programs, so that people can actually try and understand this in detail on specific high-end subjects. Then we also have started looking at, in the last couple of years, we've also started, we know a lot of Indians tend to look for global level employments. So we also have started a couple of programs which are focused on global markets, so that the students who complete these programs can get employed in India, in Indian organizations which service global clients, or get absorbed in the global markets. So there are specific programs which have been launched, and we have a wealth management program and a global financial markets module and a financial economics module. So these are specific programs which we have built in the last over the last 4 or 5 years to take things forward. And other than that, we have a few initiatives which are essentially to ensure that we are able to kind of give, build the financial awareness in the country. So the fun element involved, and to try and ensure that kids get engaged with finance very early in their life. So we have a concept called Financial Quest, which we run as a quiz program across about 15 to 20 cities. About 15 to, there are about 200 schools participate. The questions are essentially focused on finance, so that kids understand, study, and improve in finance. Then we have a specific program people who are getting into corporates and starting investing. So they need to talk about their money which they're getting. So we have a specific program various that we keep delivering. We also have in all these areas. We do a lot of programs for housewives. They can be for managing their own funds, as well as starting their small businesses in say insurance distribution or mutual fund distribution, own employment, small businesses. I'm trying to take you through some of these areas in some of the so that you get a sense of where you can look for a career in financial markets and what you should do. The program, you will be able to download the syllabus and entire curriculum, the entire workbook, and you can study at your own pace and then give an examination. The examinations are conducted across the country in almost 200 centers, and you can go to any of those centers and give an examination. It is a completely electronic examination, and once you pass that examination, you will get a certificate from the exchange. And a lot of students, I mean, I've seen students, some of the students are completing 15, 16, 20 certification modules, because it's a great way to enhance your CV while you are studying for your graduation or post-graduation. It gives you a significantly incisive understanding of specific areas. If you take the capital markets basic module, it talked about all capital market related areas. There are capital market advanced modules which will teach you advanced concepts in capital markets, derivatives, risk management, fixed income, that basically the debt market side and the derivatives on that, currency and the derivatives on that. So multiple programs have been introduced across, so that across the entire finance field, for any of you to really pick and choose what you want to study, understand, while nothing is, I mean, these are very short, I mean, self-study programs which will give you a certification. While it's critical for you to take some of these examinations, you can go through the list which is available on our website. You can go through the list, pick and choose the programs which you think make sense to you, and study for them, so that, and then with the examination, once you have the certificate with you, we've seen employers looking at NCFM certificate holders with a completely different perspective compared to any other graduate or the postgraduate who come out of various universities and institutions. It kind of gives you that additional edge when you and the knowledge which you gain through studying some of these modules would be absolutely invaluable when you start your work career in any of the organizations. In the last about 17 years, we have done close to about 17 lakh individual certifications have been done across all these 44 modules which I mentioned. So it's a great way to enhance your knowledge, enhance your CV while you are studying for your graduation or a post-graduation. So while you're studying, you can do this whenever you have time, and then pick up a module and prepare for it. You can the entire course material is available to you, and you can prepare for it in about a month, 2 months, depending on the time you can spare, and give an examination and get a certificate. So you are actually building your not only knowledge level, capabilities, you're also getting certifications which will help you possibly get a shoe into some of the areas are some of the organizations which you So the other one which I mentioned, the state level financial literacy, this is where we are actually, we have been working for the last 4 to 5 years with various state governments. What is money, what is interest, what is very basic concept of inflation, how it would affect your savings or investments. So it gives you the students to understand very easy to here what I'm doing is actually teachers across the types As I mentioned, we have 6 schools, and in the last 4 years, close to 25 lakh students, which is a huge effort. And we are now talking to multiple other state governments to expand this, try and give financial their whatever money they are earning, and make the money work for them so that they can ensure that they. So these are some of the areas where we are concentrating. This is a huge and we are actually now engaging with another set of state governments forward. Then what we are doing with state governments, we have also straightaway engaged with the Central Board of Secondary Education, which is a nodal agency for secondary education at the central level. And we have introduced a financial markets module for classes 9, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So these modules each year will get progressively complex inputs in financial markets. So initially we started with 11, 12 about 4 years back, and this year we introduced class 9 and 10. So you can actually, if you're studying in a CBSE school, you can actually, or your relatives or your friends or your brothers or sisters who are studying in CBSE schools can actually seek, this is an optional vocational subject. They can choose this subject. If they choose financial markets module, it will be treated as one of the subjects, and they don't have to choose the rest of the subjects. It's basically vocational subject available as an optional, and they can take this one up and then go through this 4 years of study, post which they can get into either, if somebody really wants to get into the employment after 12th, it is possible to get an employment after 12th because they have a very basic, I mean, they have already amassed a fair amount of understanding of financial markets. They can be absorbed in financial services industry if they want to go for employment after 12th. But if they want to continue to study post 12th, then there are openings available in at graduate level in BBA, then Bachelor of Business Studies in financial markets. There are MBA, as I mentioned, MBAs in financial markets. So it kind of gives you a sufficient amount of understanding of the markets, both for employment post 12th or further studies. And here again we use the train model. We train the teachers in the story is anyway taught. There are practical aspects which are included in the financial markets module so that they can get employed if they really want to get employed. Post the simulated market as both in terms of skill as well as their ability to get into employment or get into financial markets from the advanced courses. To CBSE students, and similar model we have also introduced in Nagaland secondary education. There similar and people from Nagaland can actually take this classes the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So it's a great opportunity for students to learn finance while and then focus on finance in the school itself, rather than try. Most of them, what happens is kids complete their exam, their education till 12th, or even graduation, then only they'll get into financial markets. Management, financial management is usually taught as part of BCom, or a little bit is taught, and then the people actually specialize in the postgraduate level. But this is a great way for students who are interested in finance to get into the stream right at class 9 onwards. That really helps kids to take things forward. As I mentioned, there are programs BBA as well as MBA programs. Close to about 20 institutions across the country. anybody who's interested in doing financial markets and specialization can get into any of these products which are available through some of the institutions across the universities. List of universities where this kind of again, here the focus is on equipping the students with while universities and institutions teach theory, financial management. What NSE is bringing to the table is essentially practical aspects, so that they are so that the kids gain industry-specific related skills, so that the moment they complete their graduation or post-grad look for an employment, they are ready to work from day one. So the employers also are very, very happy to take students who go through some actual working of the market. So that is a great plus point for students who are trying to do. And NSE is a co-promoter of BFS. Usually short duration programs. Some of you might be aware. Last year there was a STAR scheme, which kind of given some insight program, and this year there's something called PMKV, where Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, and under that again we are conducting series of skill programs for students. If you're interested, you should get in touch with any of our offices across the country. The information is available on our website also. So these are very short duration, about 100 programs which are delivered over a very short period, and will equip you in a particular area of financial markets, which open up employment opportunities as well as self-employment opportunities. So it's a great way to get a career, start your career in financial markets. We have another program which is called the NCCMP, NSE Certified Capital Markets Professional. This program again is a 100-hour program. This has been running for almost about 8 years now. It's a very comprehensive program to gain entry into capital markets. Again, we have types of multiple universities, colleges, and institutions across the country. There are about more than 130 institutions where we have this program running. And this program, usually 100-hour program, gets completed in about 3 to 4 months, and it will teach you all the basics of financial markets, particularly the stock market side. It gives a very thorough understanding, grounding of financial markets. And again, there is while theory is taught, the focus is on ensuring that you get the feel of the market, feel of the working in the industry. So the fair amount of practical training which is made part of this, and a simulated trading environment which will give opportunity to test all the concepts which are being taught to you while you're undergoing this program. So it's a very nice program which is available. We actually now introduced a electronic version of this FCCMP. Till now it is available through institutions across the country. Now an EMCCMP has been launched, which can be you can actually enroll for this program and then complete the program through a series of classroom sessions, simulated classroom sessions and electronic lecture sessions, and you can complete the program without really going to a physical location as such. And an examination is conducted, post which you'll get a certificate. So while this program is available to more than more than 130 institutions, you have now an option to undergo this program in electronic format at your spare time using a computer and an internet connection. So that is one great way to start getting a look into financial markets, either as an employee of an organization, or you can start your own boutique firm for financial services. As I mentioned earlier, there are management development programs. There are, people who are already working in the financial markets. They need to upgrade their skills on a regular basis. So we keep conducting high-level programs for these executives, or they're open for even students. If the students want to pick up specific skill sets in a particular area, these MDPs are available again through various across the country in major cities, and a list of MDP programs currently running is available on our website, and these are essentially focused to reinforce the skills reinforce the skills of professionals who are already in the financial services market, or for students who want to pick up specific skill sets or build their knowledge in a specific area, or improve their CV by undergoing a specific program. So these are programs, as I said, are available in all major cities. Please consult our website for details of the programs which are currently available. I talked about Financial Quest. It's a fun way of learning about finance as well as reinforcing whatever learning which has happened. So we have been conducting this program for class 8 and 9 students. In the last 4 years, we have gone to close to almost 800 schools. Every year we pick up about 15 cities. Again, the cities keep on changing, so that we are able to reach much larger population. And every year we touch about 40,000 students. There are specific interventions in each of those schools which we have selected, and we do 3 programs at various times in the year. Students within each school, they can participate in this program, and then selected students will, again, each school send their representatives for regional level finals and national level semi-finals and finals. And the national level as well as regional finals are telecast CNBC TV 18. So it's a great way, a fun way of learning finance and reinforcing. If you already learned something, reinforcing that knowledge in an absolutely fun environment. So we have seen a great impact every year. This is the 4th year we are doing Financial Quest, and we've received overwhelming response across every city where we've taken this program. FinWiz is the program essentially for young professionals who just about started their career. Idea is to try and give them the inputs. Once they start earning money, they need to ensure that the money is properly invested, saved and properly invested, and the money has to work as hard as these guys work in their corporations where they are employed. So idea is to give them those very sound basic financial principles, so personal financial principles. So we've touched upon multiple corporates in the last couple of years, and the response again has been phenomenally encouraging for us, and we will continue to. We have actually modified this into an electronic version. Also, I'll talk about that subsequently. This again is focused on giving basic personal finance skills to young corporate professionals. While doing all these things, we also realized that people who acquired our certifications or went through some of the skill-based programs or graduation programs, post-graduation programs, we thought we should actually create a job portal kind of thing for these people to put their CVs. And we have large number of institutions, both brokerages as well as financial institutions, which are looking for skilled, qualified professionals, finance professionals. So we actually are. The idea is to this FinTalent website matches finance people who have the financial talent, who are looking for employment, with institutions which are looking for people with the right skills. So it's a great new initiative which has started. So once you pass any of NCFM certifications, or if you have gone through any of our programs, you can actually put your CV on this and then take it forward. Okay. So I'm kind of coming to end of my presentation. This is just a summary of what we are accomplished in the last about 17 years of interventions in financial literacy side. And this is just the beginning. We have a huge amount of work to go as we go forward, and we are constantly looking for partnerships across educational system, so that we are able to and kind of increase the footprint, and slowly we are actually turning some of these programs into electronic delivery modules, so that instead of going to a specific institution, even if you are not able to physically go to a location, you can actually go through the program on through internet at your convenience, and still get the required inputs, both in terms of knowledge as well as skills, plus the certification at the end of which. So that's in terms of my presentation. Thanks for patient hearing. And what I would, I'm now open to taking questions which you have about the markets, about career in financial markets, how to start your own possible, are there openings for personal, starting your own businesses, or any other area related to financial markets, and your intervention in the financial markets as such. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Varanasi. The presentation was really very interesting and pretty exhaustive. Now, Mr. Varanasi will take all your questions. You can open your chat room on the right side of the screen and shoot your questions now. You can also post your questions on Twitter at #ETMarketsWebinar. So let's start with the first question, Mr. Varanasi. Mr. Arun Sharma says that the major control of our markets is in the hands of the FIIs. So any time money goes out of their account and then there's a fall, how can a domestic investor view these conditions? How does one really react to that and work their portfolio around that?
Well, I mean, though this particular question has nothing to do with financial awareness and education, essentially, if you really look at, there is FIs just contribute about less than 20% of the total market activity, and they hold about 20-odd percentage of the shareholding. So they are one of the key participants in the market. They are not drivers of the market. People tend to play influence, but they're one of the key participants. It's important to have different participants in the market. FIs are a key and very, very important constituent of the market. But as an investor, if you are really looking at investment in the markets, you can choose any of the products, right from very complex product, I mean, very easy products like exchange traded funds, which you don't really require to invest in, both in terms of your time and effort. You can do a systematic plan on an ETF, which gives you market returns, and empirical studies across various countries, including India, have proven that a systematic investment into basic some of the I would say major index-based funds will help you get market returns. So, and market returns, the empirical studies in India have proven that over a period of 10 years, equity markets tend to give at least 7 to 8 percentage points more than the fixed income. So you're talking about, I mean, if you just take last about a 10-year period, possibly Nifty has returned about 16% compared to any your fixed deposit in a return of close to about 9% or whatever. So you don't have to worry about other players in the market. You should concentrate on your investments and your analysis and what kind of products you should get in. And the market has multiple set of players, so that's useful. You need to obviously have different players with different horizons, time horizons, as well as different views on the market.
Okay, so sir, Kushal Devera, he wants to know how to identify sectors and stocks which are expected to do well over the long term. And can you also suggest a good book where he can learn the nuances of long-term investment?
Well, I think that's completely, but it looks at exchange. We don't pick stocks and pick sectors. Our job is to and you want to you should reach out to a broking interview research about specific sector. And I would be happy if the questions come on education. The focus is on education, financial education, and career opportunities within the financial education.
All right. Here we have Mr. Ravi Rai, who wants to know how we can evaluate fundamentals of small and unknown companies. How do you suggest one does that?
You need to first understand the balance sheet and how to read the balance sheet, how to read the a particular company, the competitors in the field. So there are programs available in our education system. There are programs which of fundamental analysis. There are the programs and fundamental analysis. If you already have done some program, try and take an NCFM certification on these areas, and which to further you build your knowledge. So there are programs which are available. There are specific courses which are available. You could possibly go through those programs to build your knowledge, and then make your own analysis in choosing the right company or right industry.
Okay, sir. Kshitij Anand from Delhi, he wants to know your vision for 2020 and where do you see NSE in terms of market capitalization?
Well, we are close to 1.5 trillion market capitalization today. Today, $1.5 trillion market capitalization, which is almost size of the GDP, and I mean this with very small participation, direct participation from the investing population, plus a significant chunk of our own retirement money, that is the pension funds, have been allowed to invest in equity markets just recently. And we have a huge supply of new companies which are coming in. As I mentioned earlier, India is the fifth in terms of ranking of number of startups which are coming into the market. So the huge amount of activity is happening, and slowly the new set of new age companies, once they stabilize, they come into the market, they start issue their own shares, and the market capitalization should really shoot up. And as we progress, and the GDP is growing at around 7%, one of the fastest growing economies in the world as of today. And our ability, the markets would match or even possibly go ahead of that, because there is a significant amount of entrepreneurial potential which is getting built in this country, and we see great. I mean, even today, with the pension funds participating in the market, with the direct investment, close to about 10% of the total population has access to equity markets. There's significant growth potential, significant upside for financial markets. In fact, any of you are seriously, I mean, students who are looking for employment, you should look at financial markets as an employment opportunity. Because in the coming, there's one study by one of the leading global consultants, which puts about requirement of finance professionals in the coming one decade, close to about 50 lakh new people into finance market. So there's a significant scope. So the sky is the limit for India as such.
All right, Mr. Varanasi, also Mr. Amit Mudgil wants to know, is there a possibility of NSE coming out with more sectoral indices?
We keep, I mean, there are multiple sectoral indices already available, and almost all major industries are covered in the sectoral indices. We keep bringing out new products, new index products. You would have heard yesterday only we have launched a corporate group index, three group indices. So we keep looking at the market requirement. Wherever we feel there is the need for introducing new indices, we keep introducing. Sectoral indices keep coming up. Besides that, we also look at thematic indices and strategic indices. So we have introduced something called NV20, which is a value index of 20 top value-based companies. We introduced LIX 15, which is highly liquid top 15 companies have been put into an index. So this is a continuous exercise, and as I mentioned, almost all major sectoral indices are already available, and we will keep on looking for opportunities to bring in new indices.
Okay, Mr. Varanasi, now coming to more individual question, and people have posted individual queries. Here, Mr. Nitesh Rathod wants to know the scope of capital markets for a fresher, an MBA fresher. What are the options over there?
So there are multiple openings for an MBA fresher, right from getting into a broking entity like a dealer in a broking entity. That is a possibility which possibly he has already got the skills to get into a broking office as a dealer. There are back office openings which are available where a significant amount of risk management and internal controls are taken care of. There are openings on research and site. There are significant equity analyst openings that are available in the market. So he needs to choose the right kind of whatever based on his own inclination, his own understanding. And MBA finance can possibly get into multiple areas, right, from compliance to operations to risk management to surveillance, and multiple areas are open. But you need to really evaluate what you want to be. You need to evaluate your strengths. If you are very strong and very analytical, possibly a risk management, research analyst kind of thing can be looked at. If you are very good in quantitative analysis, possibly a analyst is a possibility. If you are very systematic and you are compliance oriented, there are openings in the back office as well as compliance side. So you need to analyze your strengths, and there are openings for MBA finance guys in the capital markets across a variety of fields.
All right, and here Mr. Tushar, he wishes to know what is a course for an equity research analysis, and is there a course on MSc specifically for the field, for the subject? What would you suggest over there?
While I'm not sure what he has done so far, if he has already done some financial markets management or financial management program, then there are reinforcing areas which could be there. There are modules and NCF modules available in fundamental finance, fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and high-end hedging techniques. So there are multiple programs available. If you have not already done a financial management program, look for a good market-oriented financial PG program in financial management. As I mentioned earlier, we have ties with almost about 20 institutions across the country. You can look at our website and figure out what area. Obviously you've chosen your area of specialization, which is the equity analysis. You look at the modules which are mentioned in our website, so they allow you to build your skills in that area if you already done an MBA or some such thing. But if you are just looking for a postgraduate program, look for an MBA program or a PGP program which focuses on industry specific skills, and you can simultaneously look at some of our offerings, particularly on the skill-based programs, some MBPs. So there are specific programs which we conduct for equity analysts. So if you are interested, you can possibly pick those programs up and then take forward.
Another similar question is from Mr. Suraj Jain, and it's a threefold question. He wants to know whether there's a job opportunity for a CFA in India, whether it is worth doing in the US, and what are international job opportunities for CFA?
Well, CFAs usually are getting absorbed in the financial, equity analyst side. We have seen lots of CFAs who are coming into markets as equity analysts, and there are CFAs we have seen who have gone to quantitative finance and hedge funds. So openings in India are available for CFAs. Obviously, there are quite a few chartered analysts in various parts of the country, and the CFA degree which is being offered by CFA Institute should be a great opener for you in the financial sector, both as a research analyst or as a specialist who is looking at quantitative, because there's a fair amount of focus on quantitative techniques in the CFA. So that really enables some of you to really get into some of the cutting edge finance areas like algorithmic. So openings are greatly available within India, and the CFAs are reasonably well sought out in other markets also. But if you are really looking for a career outside, then you need to pick up specific programs which are mandatory in those jurisdictions. If it's USA, then you will have to specifically pass some of the examinations conducted by FINRA or SEC. Similarly, each jurisdiction has their own set of additional qualifications which are required to understand the local financial markets. But great opportunities within India itself for CFAs in financial markets.
All right, sir. Here is a different question. Miss Sangeeta, she's interested in educating people on how to take investment decisions and give them proper skill sets. So how does she go about that?
Well, as I said, there is a huge potential for giving inputs to investors about various products which are available. But if you are, you also should look at the guidelines which SEBI has come out with for financial advisors and research analysts. So if you are trying to pursue a career, then you possibly have to register with me as a financial analyst advisor. So those guidelines need to be looked at, and you already have the skill sets. Then you can start your career if you want to start your career. Otherwise, you can start your own independent financial advisor kind of a role is available. Wealth advisors, financial advisors are in great demand right now. And if you want to really associate in equipping a large number of investors and students, then you can look at academic side. Both as I mentioned, we keep looking out for partners who have the right skills to impart financial education and awareness across the country. So there are, again, multiple openings which are available. You have to really decide where you want to get involved in this area.
All right, sir. So you recently raised the lot sizes of derivative contracts to take this segment out of the reach of common investors. How has been the response in terms of volumes, and has there been a dip? And also, do you think you can achieve your real purpose with such a move? This is a question from Mr. Dhruv Kumar from Noida.
Can we look at questions which are focused on education and awareness side? Some of these product-related questions that we can take it separately.
Sure, of course. So here we have Mr. Vishal Navlani, who wants to know what an IT professional can do in terms of financial education. How does he venture into financial industry? Are there any skill sets that can be used around IT?
There are a significant amount of IT professionals with finance knowledge are a prerequisite. Both in terms of development of technology, development of products, development of processes, and algorithmic trading, which is slowly evolving in various parts of the country and outside the country also. So if you are very strong in IT side, you obviously you shouldn't be reasonably strong on the quantitative analysis. So you try and pick up some of the programs which will enhance your skills and enhance your understanding of the markets. So do a couple of basic capital market understanding programs like capital market basic module or derivatives basic module, just to build your knowledge initially, and then you can start looking at advanced programs. And the risk management requires a fair amount of quantitative skills and IT skills, and you can possibly look at that area, risk management, the various programs within the country are available. There is something called FRM, which is focused on risk management. So for an IT professional who's looking for a career in finance, possibly the risk management side is a great area to get in, and also the algorithmic trading, hedging, and the product creation in those areas.
Okay, sir, Mr. Dasharthi, he wants to know, does he really need a degree in finance to make a career in the capital markets? He's essentially an engineer by profession, and I mean, it takes away from the last IT question, I think. And he's into IT specifically in BFS for a decade. So, can you still explore career prospects in the capital markets? What do you have to say about that?
Absolutely. I mean, somebody who has been in the BFSI sector, I'm not sure where exactly he has done his, he has been working for the last 10 years. But there are very, as I mentioned, openings possible both in the risk management side and then even surveillance and compliance side. There is a fair amount of activity because as the data has increased, I mean, you would have realized we generate gigabytes of data every day. In the trading activity, we accept close to about 100,000 order messages, 1 lakh order messages every second. So in a day, we accept anywhere between 500 million to 1 billion order messages. So it requires huge amount of effort to find patterns in the data which is coming, which is the gigantic data. So there are openings for quantitative oriented people like engineers who are looking for. So there are openings in market analysis, the data analysis side. There are openings in risk management side. There are openings obviously in algorithmic trading side. So engineers with quantitative skills can possibly look at some of these areas. Are there any other questions? Or we've lost?
Okay. Hi, sir. So we have Ms. Shweta Konka. She wants to know, is the CFP course given by ICICI Direct approved by the NSC?
No, I didn't get that. Which course?
There's a CFP course that is given by ICICI Direct. Is that approved by NSC?
Offhand, I don't think so. Normally, our programs are directly given by us. We don't really, unless there is a specific memorandum of understanding, we don't really endorse other courses. So our courses are essentially list of our courses and the JVs which we have with various institutions is available on our website. I don't remember this particular course, but you can check our website.
Okay. And sir, there's this one more question by Mr. Raj V. It's a little different from the general questions, but he wants to start his own brokerage house. So he wants to know how much capital would he require to get registered as a brokerage?
So the details are available on our website as how somebody can become a member of the exchange. So it involves a fair amount of net worth capital. So details, if he goes to our website under the member segment, details are given in terms of what are the requirements, both infrastructure as well as financial requirements. He should possibly look at that, and after that, if he has any questions, we have contact numbers given on the website. He can contact and we can take him through of actually getting a membership of the exchange. I think we can take one last question and then possibly stop at this.
All right. So this is actually Miss Sangeeta Watts, who's been logged on and is very interested in teaching people about investments. So she wants to know, can they have access to high frequency data, and if possible, what's the process to get that data?
Again, possibly she needs to get in touch with us. High frequency data in terms of availability is essentially to our members who are actually Outside that, unless there is a specific requirement, we need to understand the requirement and then we can look at it. So possibly she needs to get in touch with us directly, so that we can understand the requirement and possibly work on it.
All right. Thanks so much, Mr. Varanasi. This was a really exhaustive interaction. And I also thank our esteemed audience, especially those who took part in this interaction very actively. We've not been able to take a whole lot of questions for the dearth of time, but we hope to address it the next time. Thanks a lot.
So thank you very much. Bye-bye.